Shalom, Barakatah. This is High Priest called Halal of the Law. Back with another video lesson, giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Akah, Yahweh alone, Yahweh only. No Bahashem. Understand that? All right. Now, the title of today's video lesson is OT Only Israelites, Gentile Salvation Doctrine. What do the OT Only Israelites teach about Gentile salvation? All right. And we're going to get off into this presentation because this is a hot topic in Israel right now. And this has become a great issue in the Hebrew Israelite community, mainly because Priest Hakah of the Genesis Israelites, after 10 years of teaching only the Israelites can be saved, he is now coming out admitting that all of this time he has been dishonest, and he have always saw in the scriptures with his understanding that Gentiles could be saved. He was just knowingly, willfully teaching a lie. I guess just going along to get along. But now he has this newfound honesty. And he's teaching what he see in the scriptures, and what he see in the scriptures, and what he has always been seeing in the scriptures is that Gentiles can be saved simultaneously with the Israelites. Even Edomites can be saved. But he teach an Israelite hierarchy doctrine. Okay. And I encourage you all to go and check out my video on the Genesis Israelite hierarchy doctrine, because the New Testament destroys the Genesis Israelite hierarchy doctrine with verses like, there's neither Jew nor Greek. Okay? Now, Priest Hakah and the Genesis Israelites, they admitted that the Greeks are white people. The Greeks are Edomites in the New Testament. So with admitting that, then you have to admit that there's no hierarchy. There's neither Jew nor Greek, for you are all one in JC, and you are a new creature, and that new creature is a Christian. So when he says there's neither Jew nor Greek, he cancels out the Israelite and he cancels out the Edomite. You all become one, and that's a Christian, right? So he admitted that the Greeks in the New Testament are white people. So with that verse, his hierarchy doctrine is destroyed. All right, now I'm going to bring this presentation out, and I'm going to be humble. I'm not going to be prejudiced. I'm not going to be aggressive, right? Because I want the truth to be known. I want the truth to be accepted. All right? Now, we're going to be addressing some of the points that the Genesis Israelites came out with, and mainly about the Edomites, and we're going to get there. But first, let's read Isaiah 49:6. All right? And we do see that a hand was extended to the Gentiles. Isaiah 49:6. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. So the Israelites, the righteous Israelites, the 1/3, the remnant, we are a light to the Gentiles. We are their salvation from the Most High God, Yahweh. Okay? Yes, a hand was extended to the Gentiles. But did they accept this extended hand? Or did they bite this extended hand of salvation? That's the question, and that's the issue. Let's get off into it. Now we're going to go to the world's famous Isaiah 56. Isaiah 56 is a chapter speaking of the Gentiles and the Gentile salvation. Let's go to Isaiah 56 and 1. All right. Now, Israel is the real Christ, and we have a video lesson series on that. Go to the playlist and check out that video lesson series, Israel is the real Christ. All right. Isaiah 56 and 1. And we're going to read this chapter. It's a short chapter, and we're going to break it down. Okay. Because a lot of people are missing what is really being said here. Right? Because this is an extended hand to the Gentiles. Yes, it is. But did they accept that extended hand? Did they reach out for that extended hand, or did they bite that extended hand? And we're going to see that they bit that extended hand. And you cannot mix the historical accounts with Israel dealing with the Gentiles and mix it with the prophecy accounts in the scriptures. All right? Salakia. Now, let's break this down. Isaiah 56, verse 1. Thus says Yahweh, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Now, this is what the Most High God says to the Gentile. Okay? Thus says Yahweh, keep ye judgment and do justice. This is the requirement for their salvation. The Most High God is telling them to keep judgment, righteous judgment, and do justice. Why? Because they are set up right now as the judges of the earth. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. They are ruling right now. They're in rulership. So the Most High God is saying, keep ye judgment and do justice. Do what's good and do what's right. That's part of the requirement of their salvation. Did they do that though? Right? And since the Most High God is speaking to their leaders, because the leaders are the ones that are set up in the position of judges. They are setting laws in place, right? They are the ones that are in charge of executing judgment, the leaders. Thus says Yahweh, keep ye judgment and do justice. Okay. Now, when we were let out of slavery, chattel slavery, with a mighty hand from the Most High God, and we fought in a civil war, and we were freed out of chattel slavery? Did they execute justice by establishing us as the kingdom we once were before they interrupted our kingdom and kidnapped us and drug us here to America? No, they did not. So they did not execute justice. But what did they do instead? They executed a systematic slavery. They set up systematic slavery, right? Enslaving us mentally, spiritually, in order to lead us to prison, to enslave us physically, right? That's what we saw in history. That's what we are actually going through right now. Oppression, right? Discrimination, right? Even when we try to build here in this nation, they're dropping bombs on our cities. Is that justice? Right? You got the Arabs to this day steady trying to grab all melanated people into slavery, chattel slavery. Is that justice? The things that they are doing, it's many evils. Is that justice? Did they want us to be saved? Because they know who we are. Are they coming out telling people who we really are as the Israelites and saying, let's do right by them? Did they set us up and give us our own land to have our own country in this land, the land of America, and say, we're going to back you, we're going to put the most intelligent ones of your nation in charge of this nation and this country that we're giving you? Did we get reparations? Did we get justice? Did they execute righteous judgment? You have to be honest and say, no, they did not. So they are dropping the ball. They dropped the ball. They bit the extended hand of salvation. They don't want salvation. They set up Christian churches on every other block in our neighborhood, keeping us in spiritual bondage, worshiping a fictional character that they created? Are they setting up so-called synagogues on every other block in our community, teaching us to serve the Most High God only? No, they're not. They don't want us to be saved, right? Is that justice? No, it's not. Okay? So, it reads, blessed is the man that does this, and the Son of Man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Okay, so you got some perverse, twisted, and wayward Israelites out there right now that's teaching you can't keep the Sabbath because we're not in our land. But here, the Most High God is telling the Gentiles to keep the Sabbath in their land. If you can only keep the Sabbath in the land of Israel, how are the Gentiles keeping the Sabbath in their land outside of Israel? Okay? Because you can keep the Sabbath outside of Israel. You can keep the Sabbath in your enemy's land even the Gentiles who land that we are in are required to keep the Sabbath. Neither let the son of the stranger that has joined himself to Yahweh speak, saying, Yahweh has utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, Behold, I am a dry tree. So the Most High God is extending a hand to the Gentiles. So then there's no excuse. Because if he didn't extend this hand to the Gentiles, then how they treated us will be somewhat justified. Because they will say, we were always doomed. So what does it matter? What's the point? And they will kind of have a point there. But now is true judgment come upon them, and shame is come upon them because they did have an opportunity. But this is opportunity missed. And Isaiah 56 lets you know that they dropped the ball. We just have to continue reading. Let's go. For thus says Yahweh unto the eunuch that keep my Sabbath and choose the things that please me. So the Sabbath, keeping the Sabbath, pleases the Most High God. And take hold of my covenant. Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place and a name better than of sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also, the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahweh to serve him and to love the name of Yahweh, to be his servants, every one that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it and taketh hold of my covenant. So we see, even the Gentiles are required to keep the Sabbath in their land. So yes, we can keep the Sabbath out of the land of Israel, in the land of our enemies, in the land of the stranger, in exile, because even they are required to keep the Sabbath. Okay? Even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon my altar. For my house shall be called an house of prayer for all people. Yes, his house is called a house of prayer for all people, rather willingly or forcibly. Yahweh God, which gathereth the outcasts of Israel, says, Yet will I gather others to him, beside those that are gathered unto him. Okay? So they are gathered to us because we are their light. Okay? They're part of our congregation. That's what the Most High God wanted. And that was their contract that they broke. And it says it right here. They did not accept it. So the Most High God is calling the beasts of the field to come and devour them. All ye beasts of the field, come to devour. Yeah, all ye beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all ignorant. Now, keep it in context. The context are Gentiles. Okay, he's talking about the Gentiles. Now, Christianity will want you to think that all of a sudden it's switched and now this part he's talking about Israelites. No, It doesn't say he's talking about Israelites. It's still in context of the Gentiles. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant because they have rejected this extended hand of salvation. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark because they have not gave warning. They are like guard dogs that keep silent when danger comes. They have not gave warning to the people and said, hey, you know what? These Negroes are the real Israelites. Be careful on how you treat them, because God has said, I will bless them that bless them and curse them that curse them. So be careful. All right. No, they're keeping silent on that. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. So spiritually, they are asleep, but they are loving this sleep. They created this sleep and this illusion, this fictional character, JC, that allows them to feel like they are being saved for doing nothing. And they are saved by grace, and they love that sleep. They love that slumber. Okay? Yeah, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. When you look off into the world today, you can see that these scriptures are real life, because it's real life that they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. When you look off and you see how France keep milking West Africa and they pillage and rob, they can never have enough. They are just robbing and continue to rob and steal gold and steal oil, and they can just never have enough. That's them. It's talking about the Gentiles, right? Did they give us a peace? Did they try to establish us as a nation? Even center us in the center of America and have us in one of the lands in America with them on every border. And they have nuclear weapons to protect themselves, right? How can we rise up against them? But they still don't want to establish us or give us anything. No reparations, nothing. They are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They cannot understand the truth. They don't want to understand. They all look to their own way. They created a new way. The New Testament is also called the way. The new way. When the Most High God says, Jeremiah 6:16, to choose the old path, and there you will find rest for your soul. But they said, here's a new way with JC. And then there's so many different branches of JC, so many different religions they created, because the New Testament is all over the place. So then you can pull so many different doctrines out of there, right? It's nothing stable to stand on. So they're just creating so many different religions and so many different ways. They all look to their own way. Even the Arabs, they piggyback off of our Torah and twisted it, perverted it, and made their own way. Their Arabic Quran. They all look to their own way. Hinduism, the Buddhists, they all look to their own way. The atheists, the Satanists, the Zionists, Judaism, with the Talmud, they all look to their own way. Everyone for his gain, from his quarter. Everyone from their section of the world, they all go their own way. They rejected the hand of salvation that the Most High God extended to them. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and I will fill. Let me read that again. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant. Didn't we just see that with the Trump administration? They cut Medicaid for so many poor children. They cut food assistance for so many poor families, but yet they have millions of dollars to build a ballroom so they can party, so that they can fetch wine and fill themselves with strong drink and party and say, this day will be like tomorrow and much more abundant. Right? Created the ballroom so that they can party more abundantly. This is them. So they extended the hand of salvation. So now, this is implemented. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 7. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. So, how can he be the salvation of the Gentiles and the destroyer of the Gentiles at the same time? Right? It's not righteous Gentiles and he's dealing with the wicked Gentiles and he's separating them. It doesn't say that. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate, and thy cities shall be laid waste without an inhabitant. That's what he is saying. He just said they are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. Right there in Isaiah 56. The lion is come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. That's Yahweh. He's the destroyer of the Gentiles. Now, hey, if we have to be the bad guys for bringing out the truth and the judgment in the scriptures for the bad guys, then so be it. But this is the truth. Right? Let's go to Psalms 53 and get some more understanding. Psalms 53, verse 2. Psalms 53, verse 2. God looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand, that did seek God. The children of men are the Gentiles. We are the children of God. Every one of them is gone back. Everyone. Everyone means everyone. Every one of them is gone back. They are all together become filthy. There is none that does good. No, not one. He's looking. He's extended his hand of salvation to him, and he's looking and seeing, who is reaching out for that hand, but none of the nations are, right? And the leaders of the nation are destroying their own people with false doctrine and with hate towards so-called black people, his chosen people, right? And they go as far as shadow banning his truth. Yes, shadow banning is real. It's not a myth. You can go and read about it. It's a real system that they set in place. It's a system of shadow banning, and they know who to shadow ban and what to shadow ban, and they are shadow banning this truth of serving the Most High God Yahweh only, to keep his law, statutes, and commandments, that so-called black people are the Israelites, and teaching who the Israelites' enemies are, and to be aware of their enemies. That's a positive message. It's not a message of hate, but yet it's a message of awakening that they are censoring, suppressing, and shadow banning. That is not doing good. That is filthy works. They are altogether filthy. That's not executing righteous judgment, and that's not justice. They don't want us to be saved. Okay? It's a lot of our people that want them to be saved, but they don't want us to be saved. And you can see it in their works. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that does good. No, not one. How are they going to be saved? How is it a righteous Gentile when he says there's none that does good? Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? So this let us know that he's not talking about the Israelites. He's talking about the Gentiles, the children of men, because he's saying that they are eating up his people as they eat bread. They have not called upon God. They have not called upon God in sincerity and in truth. There were they in great fear, where no fear was. For God has scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee. Thou hast put them to shame, because God has despised them. You understand that? Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion, when God bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. So this is not a simultaneous salvation. Okay, we don't see a simultaneous salvation with the Israelites and the Gentiles. We see that the Israelites are going to rejoice, and that there is no Gentile that does good. Right? Now we go to Baruch, chapter 4, verse 24. Baruch, chapter 4, verse 24. Like as now, the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, So shall they see shortly your salvation from our God, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. Are they going to be seeing their salvation with our salvation? Right? Come on now. It doesn't say that. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from God. For thine enemies have persecuted you, but shortly you shall see his destruction. No, you shall see his salvation. You shall see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck. My delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto God, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you. For as it was your mind to go astray from God, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. Right? No. GOZ would say, just pray, but don't do nothing. Come on now, bruh. How is that seeking him 10 times more? When y'all were Christian lights and y'all were SOI, y'all were keeping the Sabbath. Now you're returning back to the Most High God and you're seeking him 10 times less? 10 times less than you were when you were a Christian? Come on. Profaning his Sabbath? No. Being returned, seek him 10 times more. You got to be on fire for the highest. For he that has brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. All right. Now let's go and address this Obadiah issue. We go to Obadiah 1 and 18. In Genesis, the Genesis Israelites, also known as the Gentile Israelites, they brought this out. And they said, Obadiah 1 and 8, shall I not in that day, says Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? Right? And they also brought out Obadiah 1 and 18. Obadiah 1 and 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. So we all understand that this is an extermination and eradication of white people out of the earth, the Edomites, right? But Genesis is teaching, and there shall not be any remaining. It doesn't mean all, because he has also said this about the Israelites. Now, let's go and get that. And we're going to go to Ezekiel 7. Ezekiel chapter 7. And we're going to start at verse 1. All right. And it reads, this is where they went to say that the Most High God says there will be none remaining of Israel either, so it's not literal. Okay, so let's go and break this down. Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Also, thou son of man, thus says Yahweh God unto the land of Israel, an end. The end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. So this is addressing the wicked Israelites, because the Most High God has already said that there is a remnant that he preserved that haven't bowed the knee to Baal, and there's a 1/3 righteous Israelites, and there's a 2/3 wicked Israelites. And this is about the 2/3. Okay. And my eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh God, an evil, and only evil, behold, is come. An end is come. The end is come. It watches for you. Behold, it is come. The morning is come unto you, O thou that dwellest in the land. The time is come, the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. Now will I shortly pour out my fury upon you, and accomplish my anger upon you, and I will judge you according to your ways, and will recompense you for all your abominations. And my eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. I will recompense you according to your ways and your abominations that are in the midst of you, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh that smiteth. Behold, the day, behold, it is come, the morning is gone forth, the rod has blossomed, pride has budded. Violence is risen up into a rod of wickedness. None of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor of any of theirs, neither shall there be welling for them. Okay, so it says, none of them shall remain right here. None of them shall remain. And it's speaking of the wicked, right? But it says in Obadiah 1:8 that we just read, even the wise men of Edom will be destroyed. Not just the wicked, but even the wise men. And what makes you wise? Keeping the commandments. So it's nothing that they can do. If you can't keep the commandments for salvation, it's nothing that you can do. If he's going to destroy even the wise men out of Edom, it's nothing that they can do. It's nothing that they can do to be saved. Right? They rejected the hand of salvation. Right? And it says here, none shall remain. Right? But y'all cherry picking and so desperately attempting to save Gentiles, you left something out. So let's read on and get to it. The time is come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life. They have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle. For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence, and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape. There you go. He's telling you right here in the same chapter that some will escape. Now, where in Obadiah does it say that some will escape? But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning every one for his iniquity, because there's no man that don't sin. But still in all, these are the ones that are the righteous, and these are the ones that are not into gross sin. Sin's punishable by death. Okay? So that cuts that. Whenever anyone try to bring that out, you got to go to verse 16. But they that escape of them shall escape. Okay? So it wasn't literal here, but it was literal in Obadiah. Okay? Because we don't read an escape in Obadiah. All right? Now, we got to go to Jeremiah 49 and 11, because this is about Edom and they need this to be cleared up. Jeremiah 49 and 11. Okay, so he's destroying Edom, and he says, leave thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. He's preserving them alive to be slaves. And he is saying, let the widows trust in me, because he is going to slaughter them. It's sarcastic, right? Trust that he is going to give them their judgment and put them into slavery, and also make them concubines, slaves, little handmaids. They need to trust in that. Okay? When you go here and get the understanding, First Samuel 15 and 3. Now go and smite Amalek, that's Edom, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Slay both man and woman and infant. Okay, so this is the Most High God's will. It wasn't executed when it was supposed to be done by Saul, but this is his will. Let's go to Exodus 17 and 16. That the man and the women be slaughtered. Exodus 17 and 16. For he said, because Yahweh has sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right. So that's the law. The Most High is at war with these Edomites from generation to generation. That's forever. All right. And we go to Deuteronomy 25 and 17. Deuteronomy 25 and 17. Remember what Amalek did unto you by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt. How he met you by the way and smote the hindmost of you, even all that were feeble behind you, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not God. Okay. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy God has given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which Yahweh thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget. So this is the law. And even though our forefathers dropped the ball on this, this is the law. So this time when we go into the land and we have the dominion, we will make sure that the Obadiah judgment is properly executed. You understand? All right. So I can keep going and I can keep going. But let's grab this. Let's grab this. Let's grab Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14, verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to worship the King Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacle. Okay. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King Yahweh of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. So they're going to die of thirst because we're not going to give them water. We're not going to supply them with no food. Right? And if we are the suppliers of food and water, then they're really not free. Right? And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. So they're not coming up from their own land, because when you go to verse 10, when you go to Zechariah 14 and 10, it lets you know what's happening, right? Zechariah 14 and 10. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hamnel unto the king's wine presses. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. Okay, so basically, the world is being, the whole earth, all of the world is being turned into Israel, right? So we're going to have rulership over the whole earth, and it's going to be turned into our land. That's what this is saying. It's saying that everybody's land is pretty much going to be Israel, and they're going to have to come up to the city of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem is going to be like our private, like, territory. But they're going to be in our land, but not in the chosen city. But they have to come up to the chosen city to keep the tabernacles. All right? So that's what that's getting off into, right? So you have to understand that, yes, a hand of salvation was extended to the Gentiles, but they rejected it. Let's go to Psalms. We go to Psalms chapter 2. And 1. Psalms chapter 2, verse 1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed. There you go. They rejected the Isaiah 56 extended hand of salvation. Right? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Right? Because we are their light. We are their salvation. We are their messiahs. But they broke that. They broke those bands. They broke that bond of the covenant. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. Yahweh shall have them in derision. Because by doing that, they only destroyed themselves. They rejected their salvation by rejecting us and cutting us off from them, making Israel to be in non-remembrance. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. You see that? Right? Psalms 83. Let's go to Psalms 83 and read on a little further. Psalms 83, I'm going to start at verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate you have lifted up the head. So these nations he's about to mention hate the Most High God. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and consulted against your hidden ones. Right? They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. They are against the Most High God, Yahweh. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites and Moab and the Hagarenes. Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Salah. So the whole earth, the children of Lot. Right? Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Syria, and to Jabin at the brook of Kison. Destroy them. Right? Which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. So they are all getting destroyed. Right? Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb. Yeah, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. Oh my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind. It's going to burn them up. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So all those nations are going to be destroyed. So persecute them with your tempest, and make them afraid with your storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yeah, let them be put to shame and perish. There you have it. That's all the nations right there. All the nations that you care about, right? Edom, so-called white people. Amalek, so-called white people. You got Moab, the children of Lot, the Japanese, the Chinese, a few Africans. You got the Ishmaelites, the Arabs. They're done. They're done. Right? You got Zechariah 12:2. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about. when they shall be in the siege, both against Judah and against Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, right? And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. All means all, and the Most High God knows what He's talking about. It's these Genesis, GMS, and the rest of these other One West camps that don't know what they are talking about, because they are, twisting the New Testament, believing in the New Testament, when this is the true doctrine right here, Tanakh only. And this is the doctrine of Gentile salvation. Yes, they had a hand of salvation extended to them. Yes, but they dropped the ball and they bit that hand that was extended. So now, all they got to look forward to is destruction. All right? Yeah, that's right. So in Isaiah 49, when it says that I will preserve your children alive, let's go to Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So that's what's going to happen to their children after slavery, right? They're being cut off. You have to understand that. So that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. There you go. Precept upon precept is how you get the understanding, right? So they have to go into slavery first. That's why they are being preserved alive. Obadiah 1 and 15. Obadiah 1 and 15. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto you. So they put us in slavery. Now we got to put them in slavery. They put us in hardcore slavery, the worst slavery ever known to man. Now we got to put them in hardcore slavery, the worst slavery ever known to man. Chattel slavery. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto you. Your reward shall return upon your own head. Right? That's why they are being preserved alive, so that they can be slaves and then killed off. It's a process, progression. Right? Let's do it. Right? Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 22. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 22. Therefore, whereas thou dost chasten us, thou scourgest our enemies 1,000 times more, to the intent that when we judge, we should carefully think of thy goodness, and when we ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy. That's right. So the Gentiles don't have a chance at salvation. Not at all. Not anymore. They are being punished 1,000 times worse for what they did to us. We didn't receive salvation. We had to bear the iniquity of our fathers. They have to bear the iniquity of their fathers too, right? Lamentations 5:7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, they are dead, and we have bore their iniquities, right? So that means we were born into slavery, innocent children born into slavery for what our fathers did, right? So they have to suffer as a nation for what their fathers did. They have to. They have to be judged as a nation. They're going into slavery. All right. And we can keep going and going and going. Like, right? Let's go to Zephaniah 2:7. And the coast shall be for the remnant of the house of Judah. They shall feed thereupon. In the houses of Ashkelon shall they lie down in the evening, for Yahweh their God shall visit them and turn away their captivity. I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revilings of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. You understand that? So the Chinese and the Japanese, they are really racist, and they be blaspheming and spewing out racist slurs to us. They hate us. Therefore, as I live, says Yahweh of hosts, the God of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah. That's complete destruction. There's nothing left of Sodom and Gomorrah but ash. Even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them. So how are they able to go to and fro from their land when they don't have a land? It's completely burnt up, like Sodom and Gomorrah. They're all coming to our land and living under us in slavery, and whatever is not burnt up, we're taking that territory over and making it Israel. We're expanding our borders. You understand? This shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of Yahweh of hosts. That's what they did. Look into it. They're very racist towards us. You see that? And this is our book, and we're not sharing our salvation with no one. You got to understand the prophecies are separate from the history. The prophecies of what's to come is destruction to the Gentile nations and slavery to the Gentile nations. Every one of them. You understand? So they're all against us. So the curses is going all on them. Deuteronomy 30:7. This is law. Deuteronomy 30:7. And Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Okay, so the curse is Deuteronomy 28, everything that we went through. Were we able to stay in our own land? No, we were dragged away from our land. That's the same thing that's going to happen to them. And Yahweh thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Was some of us, the righteous of us, able to stay behind and stay in our land and just be vassals? No. Even the righteous went into captivity. Right? So all of them, even the so-called good ones, are going into captivity in our land. And that's just the truth. The scripture says it. They're going in chains. They are going to be in chains. Okay? Let's go to see the curse, Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26. Let's start at 31. And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation. And I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate, and your cities waste. So these are the curses that we went through. In Deuteronomy 30 and 7, the Most High God says he's going to put all these curses on our enemies, the ones that hate us, right? And the whole world be gathered against us. So there's no standing your land as vassals going to and fro. All right? Let's go to 36. Leviticus 26 and 36. All right? And upon them that are left alive of you, I will send a faintness into their hearts in the lands of their enemies. All right, so you're going to the land of your enemies. They're going to our land like we went to their land. And the sound of a shaken leaf that chased them. And they shall flee as fleeing from a sword. And they shall fall when none pursueth. All right. And ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. They're going to the land of their enemies. They're going to our land like we went to their land. They're not staying in their land. It says it over and over. And they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also in the iniquity of their fathers shall they pine away with them. All right. So that's the curse. That's the curse that's going to be reversed. Just like we're right now currently in our enemy's land. We're not going to and fro back from our... No, they're going to lose all of that. Right? And they're going to be forced to serve the Most High God, Yahweh. And then they're going to be forced to keep the Sabbath and the rest of the laws. But they are going to be living as slaves, hardcore slaves. We're going to take their women and make their women concubines, bed wenches, handmaids. And that's what the scripture says. All right? Everything that they did to us, we're going to do to them. All right? So that's the OT only Israelites Gentile salvation doctrine. And we're giving all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh a God. Like, right? But wait, there's more. Let's go and get Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61, verse 1. All right? And this is what salvation is. So there's no more confusion. Isaiah 61 tells us what salvation is. Okay? The Spirit of Yahweh God is upon me, because Yahweh has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahweh and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, our God, the God of Israel, to comfort the Israelites that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, Israel, the Israelites, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of Yahweh, that he might be glorified. Right. It's bringing them joy that those who persecuted them are going to get that same judgment. Deuteronomy 30:7, right? Right? What joy is it that your enemies, the ones that persecuted you, the ones that enslaved you, the ones that think they're better than you, the ones that have more privilege than you here, they get to serve the Most High God in privilege, you serving the Most High God in oppression. How is that bringing you joy, seeing them saved simultaneously with you? That doesn't make any sense, right? Your doctrine, One West, is just getting worse and worse. And they shall build the old wastes. They shall raise up the former desolations. And they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. There you go. Right? This is after Isaiah 56, right? Because, the hand was extended, but, they rejected it, as we read. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahweh. Men shall call you the ministers of God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. There you go. Now, this is salvation. The Gentiles, they look at us with disgust just on how we're created. They hate the Most High God's creation, right? Our big lips, our big noses, our dark skin, our woolly hair. They hate the look of us. They just hate the look of us. They disgusted with the look of us. They treat their dogs like humans, and they treat humans like dogs, right? They're going into slavery. For your shame, ye shall have double, and for your confusion, they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore, in their land, they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be upon them, the Israelites. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offerings. So that's robbery, man. saying that the Gentiles can be saved simultaneously with us. That's just robbery, and it's not justice. It's crooked scales. For I, Yahweh, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offerings. And I will direct their work in truth, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. The Gentiles had a chance, right? It says, the scripture says, when our iniquity had an end, they still pursued us with the sword, right? They went overboard, right? That just means when we were let out of chattel slavery, they still persecuted us with all of their Jim Crow and the systematic slavery that they set in place, right? And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh has blessed. Right? And this is going to be a shocking. And people are going to see like, okay, these are the people that the world despises. These are the niggas. Right? Now look at them. Like, it's going to be a very great shock. Right? I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my God, for he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. This is salvation. He has covered me with the robes of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. Salvation is only for the Israelites. For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so Yahweh God will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. Before all the nations, they're going to see our salvation. They can't see our salvation simultaneously seeing their salvation as well. They're seeing their salvation because we're all being saved together. So they're not looking at our salvation. They're focusing on their own salvation, seeing their own salvation. No, they're going to see our salvation. For Zion's sake, right? For Zion's sake will I not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth. All praises be to the Most High God, Yahweh Akkad, right? We're going to close it off right there. I rest my case. That's the doctrine. That's the OT only Israelites Gentile salvation doctrine. Yes, they had an extended hand. Isaiah 49:6, Isaiah 56. But in the chapter Isaiah 56, it lets you know that they blew it for being dumb dogs and greedy dogs and ignorant. Okay? Note that. Write that down. And we're giving all praises to the Most High God, Yahweh Akkad.
Baby, 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 living that satellite, baby, baby, keeping the laws of God, let them keep hating, living that satellite, and it feels so amazing.